Hello everybody, this is the Johnny Mare, and welcome to my 10,000 views subscriber special Q&A. So a little while ago I asked all of my subscribers to ask some questions of me, and I said I would answer those questions in a video. And so here we are. I will be playing Super Mario Kart for the SNES, which I consider to be the best game in the series. And while I play that and do a couple of the different circuits, I will be answering your questions. So let's jump right in here to a 150cc class, and we'll start with Toad, of course, my favorite racer, and we'll do the Mushroom Cup. Now I tried to do this with live commentary and really struggled to be able to focus both on answering questions and playing, so I'm actually doing this post-commentary. So I'm probably not going to be reacting as much as usual to what goes on in the video, so kind of keep that in mind. But I'm not exactly starting the best right here. So let's get to the questions. The first subscriber to ask a question of me was the Hydrosme, and he asked, what got you started in LPing? And the basic reason that I started Let's Playing was I really wanted a walkthrough for Resident Evil 4. I had gotten the game for the Wii, and I was having some troubles with the game, kind of focusing on where to go and things like that, and ugh, Toad. And I really wanted something more than just a written kind of FAQ to read through. So I went on YouTube and looked up Resident Evil 4 walkthroughs, and I found Zelger's Let's Play of Resident Evil 4. And that basically got me through the entire game, which I was very thankful for. And, you know, for me, that kind of looked like a really cool thing to be able to play a game and kind of commentate while doing that and kind of share my experience while playing a game. So even though that was a couple years ago, I always, after that point, wanted to be able to do Let's Plays. And so once I was able to actually do that, I got the equipment and such, I decided to actually start doing it. Hydrosme also asked, what are your top 10 favorite games of all time? Well, my favorite game of all time is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I also like Lunar, Silver Star Story Complete. Final Fantasy Tactics is my third favorite game. Final Fantasy VI and Fallout 3 round out my top 5, and I find myself going back and playing each of those games almost annually. So I do end up replaying through those games pretty frequently because I enjoy them so much. To finish off the top 10, I would put Chrono Trigger in there, Fallout New Vegas, Super Mario RPG, of course, which is an awesome game, and it's actually the game that got me into RPGs in the first place. I hadn't really played one before that game, and that opened up a whole new area that I've since really enjoyed. And then the last couple games, Super Mario World, which is my favorite platformer, and then Final Fantasy IV is my second favorite Final Fantasy game. So that would be my top 10. And then Hydrosme also asked, what is your favorite novel? Well, that depends on whether you're talking about a series of novels or just a single standalone novel. My favorite series is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, which is 5 official books and then I think a 6th that was written not by Douglas Adams but by someone else. And then for a single standalone novel, my favorite is The Stand by Stephen King, which is an outstanding book, and I like the unabridged version, the one that's like 1,200 pages. It's a really good one. The Dapper Jester asks, kind of going off my favorite novel, why did you decide on Marvin the Robot as your unofficial official mascot? Or official unofficial mascot, I always forget what I call it. And I picked Marvin because, well, he's my favorite character from my favorite novel series. And I wanted, when starting up my channel, to have something for my avatar that was kind of unique, and also something that was kind of mine without a copyright claim on it. So my avatar is actually a picture of a Marvin the Robot statue that I have, a little bobblehead that I got for Christmas a couple years ago. So basically that's kind of why I did that. I wanted kind of kind of a unique avatar that I could use on multiple sites that would kind of become known with me. It's not because I'm depressed or anything like that, but he is one of my favorite characters, so that's why I chose him. National Radar asked, what is your favorite 3D platformer? And my favorite 3D platformer is actually, I'm gonna see if I can use the mushroom here. Ugh. I forgot if I actually succeeded with that or not. The only one I've really played is Super Mario 64, or Mario 64, I don't remember which it's called, for the N64. I'm not a big 3D platformer. I tend to really enjoy the 2D versions, so a lot of the older school Mario and the new ones, new Super Mario Brothers for the Wii and such. And I never really got into the 3D platformers, and so I haven't really played much of them. I do have like the Super Mario Galaxies and stuff like that, but I just haven't played them very much. Earthbound and Down 12 asked, which of my own Let's Plays is my favorite and why? And I would say my favorite Let's Play that I've done so far is my Resident Evil Let's Play, the Jill scenario. Simply because it's a really nice kind of walkthrough, and I was really able to kind of get really into the game. And I think it's the first time that I kind of got out of my initial heavy emphasis on walkthrough. Like some of my early Final Fantasy VI episodes and even some of my Legend of Zelda episodes, I think focus a little bit too much on the walkthrough-y stuff. And I didn't react as much as I wanted to, and I feel like I'm a little too monotone. And so with Resident Evil, I think from beginning to end, I was able to really get into the game and kind of convey how much I enjoyed playing it, while still offering a great opportunity for people who watch it as a walkthrough to kind of guide them through the game as Jill. Second question is, who are some of your favorite Let's Players to watch? My favorite Let's Player is the Necroscope86, and I've mentioned that before. He is a British Let's Player who enjoys a lot of the same games that I do, and he was a big inspiration for me in terms of my Let's Play style, which is actually the next question from Earthbound and Down. I kind of found him after Zelger when I was looking for some other Resident Evil walkthroughs, and I really enjoyed his LP style. He's very humorous and but also very walkthrough-y, and so he kind of guides people through the games and kind of presents his own opinion on it. And also I really identify with him in terms of he doesn't curse a lot in his videos, and I personally don't curse much either. I try to avoid cursing if at all possible. So those, kind of him and Zelger, the first two people I kind of started watching, were the biggest inspirations kind of for my own LP style, which is very informative but also reactionary. And then a lot of my subscribers and viewers, actually, I really enjoy watching their videos as well. So a lot of you know I tend to comment quite a bit, maybe a little excessively in some cases, and so thank you for bearing with me while I do that. I get really excited when I watch, you know, a lot of games that I haven't really played a bunch in my lifetime, and so I end up commenting a lot on people's videos. So you know, a lot of the people that frequently comment on my videos, I really enjoy watching their videos as well. Avok asked, what is your typical routine for the production of a video? Well, that's kind of a complicated process. I am a perfectionist when it comes to certain things in my life, and Let's Playing is definitely one of them. So I have kind of an excessive process. It depends on kind of the game that I'm playing and how well I know that game. And so if it's a game like The Legend of Zelda, for example, there wasn't a ton of prep that went into it. Basically, I was just able to kind of boot the game up and play through it because I know it so well. But for other games like Final Fantasy VI, Resident Evil, I would do a little bit of a dry run before I would actually record, just to kind of get a lay of the land. And then once I would record, I do my commentary in two parts. So I do pseudo live and also pseudo post commentary. And what that means is I record live commentary, but I rarely go with just the full live cut of the commentary. I take a lot of notes while I'm recording, and any parts that I'm not happy with, what I end up doing is going back in post and redoing it or editing it out. And so the whole process can take quite a while. I usually try to contain my recordings to about 15 to 20 minutes, and so then I'm able to kind of turn that around pretty quickly. Jeez, I killed Princess. Yeah, that's a little trick with that level. If you use a green shell or a banana peel on the zip arrows right before the jump there, you can get them to fall down and they'll have a really hard time getting over that. Aw, little Mario head. So depending on kind of how that all goes, you know, it can go really quickly. I can turn around a video really fast, maybe in about 45 minutes to an hour, pending editing and all that good stuff. But some episodes take much longer than that, especially if I have to do a lot of post-commentary changes to the commentary, of course. How much prep work do you put into your LPs before actually recording? Again, that kind of depends on the game. How much post-production work? Quite a bit of editing, again, depending on the game and depending on how I feel about the live commentary. And what software and hardware do you use to record and produce your videos? Well, that's changed a little bit. When I first started out, I was using a Hotpodge USB Live 2 analog video digitizer is what it's called. And basically it's a little analog device that you hook up to your computer, and then you can hook up the AV cables of any system to it and play the game that you're recording directly on your computer screen, actually. The quality of that isn't the greatest, and there's a little bit of a delay in terms of your picture and what's actually happening in the game. So it worked at first for some of the games. For Zelda and Final Fantasy VI, that's what I used. But since then, I got a Hotpodge HD PVR, the Gaming Edition 2. And so I've been using that to record anything that I have a component cable for. So I use that to record my Wii and also my PlayStation 3. But for my Game Boy Advance games that I'm doing, I still have to use the video digitizer because I don't have a component cable for my GameCube, which is I use the Game Boy player to play those games. So I still have to go back and use that for those few games. And then in terms of the software with the digitizer, the program is called WinTV7, I think, which came with the hardware. And then with my HD PVR, it's ArcSoft is the recording program that I use. And then in terms of editing, I used originally Windows Movie Maker for pretty much most of my first half videos. And once I got really frustrated with that and some of the limits of that system, I actually upgraded to Sony Vegas. So now I use Sony Vegas Movie Studio Platinum HD11. Whew, that's a mouthful. And that's a great program. I love that program. It's able to do a lot of things that Movie Maker couldn't, and it lets me do specifically a lot of splitting and cuts that I couldn't do very easily with Movie Maker, so I'm really glad I got that program. Mr. Cadaver asks, what kind of microphone and voice recording setup do you use? Well, I use a Rocketfish gaming headset with 3D sound, and the program I use to record audio is actually just Windows Sound Recorder, which is a free program that came with my computer. I don't use Audacity or any of that stuff. I just use that very basic program. Mr. C also asks, what computer do you use? My computer's actually kind of old. It's a laptop. It's a compact Presario with a dual Celeron processor. I've had it for about 6 years now. It's starting to really slow down and show its age, but basically it does the job, and so it does what I need it to do. And it's only got a 14-inch screen, so I kind of have to squint a little bit when I'm using it, but like I said, it kind of does what I need it to do. Mr. C asked, would you rather fall asleep in a lazy boy or a hammock? Probably a lazy boy. I don't tend to nap a bunch, but if I do nap, then definitely I would prefer a lazy boy. That to me is much more comfortable than a hammock. And his last question is to be or not to be. And for me, it's always to be. I always want to be the best. And the immortal words of the Pokemon theme music. So I'm always looking to get out there and do new things and try new things. And so I'm doing that a lot with my Let's Plays, but also other areas of my life. My viewer Nakusu asks, what is your favorite food? I have a couple different foods that I really like. I tend to be kind of plain in a lot of ways. I'm a steak and potatoes kind of person, but mashed potatoes are definitely my favorite food overall, but I'm also a big fan of barbecue. How long have I been Let's Playing? I actually started Let's Playing on August 1st of this year. That was the first day I recorded my first Final Fantasy episode, which I then uploaded on August 2nd. So it's been a little over 4.5 months that I've been Let's Playing. And so coming up on my 5-month, and then ultimately at the end of January, my 6-month anniversary. So that time has really flown. It's hard to believe that it's really been kind of that long that I've been doing this, but it definitely has been. And the last question is, what are some of the other hobbies that you like to do? And my main hobbies outside of Let's Playing are to read a lot. I like to read some comics. The Walking Dead and Invincible are the current series, as I've mentioned previously. Big fan of novels. I'm a big Stephen King fan. Also a big Tolkien fan, so I find myself going back to the Lord of the Rings books often. And of course, Douglas Adams, big Hitchhiker fan, and also his detective series, the Dirk Gently books. Those are really good for those that have never read them. But besides Let's Playing, I also like to just play video games. I do still play off and on games when I'm not recording. And that's more of the kind of newer games, the more contemporary games. So playing through Kirby's Dream Land collection still. And also playing off and on a little bit of Epic Yarn. And I'm starting to get the itch to play Fallout again. Usually happens around this time of year. And so I'll be probably doing that within the next week or so as well. I'm also a big sports fan. Big baseball and football fan here in the US, and so I root for the Milwaukee Brewers for my baseball team of choice. My football team of choice is the Indianapolis Colts. And then I watch a little bit of basketball, some college, and also some NBA. I like the Dallas Mavericks for the NBA, and for college, basically, it's March Madness. And so whenever the tournament comes around, you know, I kind of pick a team that I'm going to support and do my bracket and all that good stuff, and get into it for about that 2-week period when the tournament is kind of really hot. So other than that, I'm a big fantasy football fan as well. I'm actually playing for our fantasy championship this next upcoming Sunday, so that's been on my mind recently as I'm tweaking my team to make sure I have the best chance of winning that. And if I can, that'll be 2 straight championships in a row, which is pretty exciting. And the last couple of questions is from Dan Bam Powell, one of my oldest viewers and someone I've known for a majority of the time I've been Let's Playing. He started a little bit after me, a couple weeks after I did, but we've known each other for quite a while. And he asks, how old am I? Well, how old do I sound? And that's answering a question with a question, but I'm 31 actually. Just turned 31 on my birthday a couple of days ago. So he asked, why are you that old? And I guess that's a really good question. I'm that old because that's when my parents decided to have me, I guess. Not quite sure of how exactly that all worked out, but that is how things worked out, so that's why I'm that age. Do you feel that you have done right by being that old? Yes, I do. I feel like I've accomplished quite a bit in my life so far. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at currently in terms of my family and also kind of professionally and getting into Let's Playing now, although I would have loved to have gotten into LPing a little bit sooner. But that just wasn't really in the cards until recently. And lastly, do you ever plan to change your age? No, I don't plan to change my age. So if I'm given an opportunity to do that, I would probably not do that. But That's just me. Going off the previous question, though, do I feel like I've done right by my age? There are a couple of really kind of long-term goals. Nice corner, Toad, that I do have that I thought I'd bring up. One of them is I want to see a baseball game in every stadium in MLB. And I've currently seen about 10 games in 10 different stadiums, so about a third of the way there. And another is to visit all 50 states in the U.S., so I'm at about 25, so I've got about half to go yet. So working on that with my wife. We're kind of planning trips around, visiting some different states, and kind of looking forward to this next upcoming summer. We're going to get a couple more stadiums off my list and visit a couple new states, and possibly Hawaii, which is pretty awesome. So that was it. That was all the questions that were asked. I hope basically those were the answers that people were looking for. I hope you've enjoyed this video, me showing you the first 2 cups of the original Mario Kart. If you'd like me to do the other 2 cups, the Star Cup and the Special Cup, let me know, and I can certainly look into going through those as well. I won't do as well as I did on these first 2 because those are definitely much more difficult races. So I probably won't be able to do a Q&A over that. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video showing off this wonderful game. And again, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for the questions. And I will see you all in my next video. So long.